Welcome to Seeing Through Glass, and welcome to the start of what I hope is going to be a very exciting series. It's official, I want a classic car. I know that there's been a lot of talk about my cars in general on the channel recently, but one thing which I've been trying to find a way to address for quite a long time is my new passion for modern classic cars, modern classics. I'm not talking about pre-war 1940s Great Gatsby type cars. I'm talking about 60s, 70s, and probably more realistically 80s cars. I woke up one day and I want to experience owning a slightly older car and potentially even having a project car, something that I can work on, tap away on in my non-existent shed. So today I've come down to Hexagon Classics, one of the most incredible modern classic car dealerships I think in the world, to check out their stock and talk all things classic cars. Now this isn't instead of the F-Type SVR I mentioned a few weeks ago, but something I hope to get alongside it in the not too distant future. But as this will be my first ever classic car, I've got a lot to consider before making any purchases. Most of the cars inside at Hexagon are way out of my price range. Don't think by me coming down here, I'm suddenly going to buy a Daytona to be cruising around in. But I wanted to come here to kind of get an idea of what this whole world is about, what my sort of dream cars are, and what affordable options could be. Because there really are so many options, I can't decide whether I should just come along to somewhere like Hexagon and pick up a fully restored or beautifully maintained £30,000 modern classic, or give myself a bit of a project, find something a little rarer or in worse condition that I can bring back to life and perhaps even modify or modernize in some way, like my own Singer. But as I say, first things first, I wanted to see what the creme de la creme of the classic world had to offer, and my God, the cars in the Hexagon showroom were just that. Now, obviously, being a Ferrari nut, I have to focus on these two, which are in the prime position in the showroom. Firstly, the Daytona Competizione. I feel like I've seen this car at an event somewhere before, but it is so mean. Firstly, look at these wheels, unbelievable. Inside, crazy bucket seats. It's amazing. I think it's so cool. And then, of course, 250 California Spider. Unbelievable thing. Massive please do not touch sign on the windscreen, which I can understand because these cars are insanely valuable, and look just how gorgeous that is inside. So clean, so simple, 100% nowhere near my price budget, as I think you are not surprised by. Maybe Shmi will buy one there. Next door we have this unbelievable 1973 Porsche 911 2.7 RS Touring. This is an immaculate car. I love the wheels on these old RSs. Beautiful with the ducktail finish and little RS badge there. Yeah, this is winning. Now for me, the E-Type is a very interesting proposition because you can still find like old beaten up E-Types that need lots of restoration. So they're affordable, I suppose. This one obviously is a beautiful version, 1965, 4.2 litre. I actually prefer the fixed head coupes. A lot of people preferred the convertibles, but I just think, this is class, isn't it? This is pure English class. I've been lucky enough to drive a couple of E-Types. They're a little bit of a handful, but very cool. And it's kind of more about cruising and the atmosphere of driving a car like this, which is what I really like, compared to, this is the whole Ferrari corner. But let's talk about the Barchetta. Again in yellow. I'm really getting overexcited about yellow cars at the moment, especially yellow Ferraris. And this thing is unreal. I'm trying to think what the equivalent of the Speciale Aperta of its day. No, the 599 Aperta of its day, yes. It is the convertible version of the 550. No roof, so as you can see, I think you can actually have a sort of crappy canvas roof maybe just here. Unbelievable looking thing. This one has only 1,600 miles on it. What the heck? Beautiful. Coming through to the unbelievable Porsche room, there are two cars in here that I particularly want to point out. Whilst pretty much everything in here is amazing, these two GT3s really catch my eye. Obviously the previous generation, both manuals, blue super nice, but I actually really like this red with the full cage, the sort of club sport package, Alcantara steering wheel, racing harnesses. These cars are still stupidly expensive. I think if you're a GT3 owner, you are winning in life in general, no matter what year or variant. But I do really like both of these. But yeah, some pretty unreal Porsches back here. So after farting around and lusting after the cars in the main showroom for a little while longer, Hexagon's head of sales, Jonathan Franklin, then very kindly offered to take me down to their workshop / second showroom to show me a few other cars he thought I should be considering. Of course, there were more incredible Porsches and more incredible Ferraris, but he did then point out a few BMWs and Mercedes, which he classes as kind of up-and-comers, perhaps future classics, and these definitely did spike my interest. Then going one stage further with his hospitality, Jonathan offered to take me out for a quick drive in two very different cars to see if it would help with my mindset. First off, we jumped into a 1988 Mercedes 500 SL. Now, if you'd asked me before I went down to Hexagon the kind of cars that I was considering, this was definitely it. Big, powerful old Mercs. They're still relatively affordable, they've got massive V8 engines, lots of spare parts knocking around, and they're impressively reliable. But 2 meters out the showroom, and I was shocked at how much of a barge the SL was. Literally, I felt like I was driving a house. And whilst there was still some character, and of course it's an incredible car, I was just left feeling a little cold and disappointed from our drive. So Jonathan said if I wanted raw and crazy, he had just the car in mind. So staying with the 80s 90s theme, he pulled out a 1996 Porsche 993 Carrera Cup car. Now this car's around £400,000, so not something I would be considering, but a true collector's item and a display of just how incredible but simple cars were 20 years ago. Obviously this is a road legal race car, so it's always going to be pretty bare, but there was just nothing to it. Literally a steering wheel, some pedals, a gear lever and the seats. You could tell from how little Jonathan was talking that it was a car you really had to concentrate to drive. I definitely like the idea of a stripped out hardcore classic. I've come back into sort of like the second of many showrooms that are down here at Hexagon Classics. This is around the back of their workshop to kind of have a look at some other things that are in here, because I feel like I need to recalibrate what I wanted. I thought I knew coming here, I was like, yeah, get a really cool like old 80s, 90s Merc, but it's a bit too much of a barge, that thing. This, I think, is unbelievable. BMW 2002 Turbo. The guys down here are currently working on it to restore it, and it just looks so mean. I saw so many of these things in California when I went out for Vlog Angeles, and they were all kind of slightly bastardized and had crazy mods, and I don't exactly know what they were. This is almost as authentic as you can get, and I think it looks very cool. That's the kind of BMW that I like. Got some more extremely rare, extremely expensive Porsches in here, which I'm not going to think about. Some Aston Martins. Check out these two in this corner. Zagato, and then you've got a GT race car as well, which was Sterling Moss's car. Eagle Speedster E-Type. Everything in here is quite expensive. But I think more and more I'm realizing that slightly older is better. I think my idea was get 80s or 90s kind of for value, but if I can afford to get something a bit more 70s and then maybe restore it somehow over time, that could be a cooler way to go. This is just the start of what I hope will be a really exciting new series for the channel. I wanted to do this first episode just to kind of set the scene a little and share some of my initial thoughts, and now I can get out there and just drive lots of different cars and see which I like the most. But I'd love to hear from you guys. Would you prefer to follow a sort of project car build series, or just to follow my story as a sort of classic car owner? Also, do you have any classic cars you think I should consider? Please do comment below. Give the video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe for all the future content, and I will catch up with you guys very, very soon.